An billboard campaign in San Francisco offered passers-by an arresting set of choices. They could do their bit to save 1,300 gallons of water in drought-blighted California by not flushing the toilet for 6 months, not watering their lawn for a month, or not showering for 2 weeks. The water was saved by turning off the spigot and doing without all 3 activities. The online version of the campaign reveals that a pound of potatoes uses about 24 gallons of water to produce, bread 193 gallons, and beef a whopping 5,214. All animal products rank high. Cheese is 896. As the Earth has limited resources, this data is crucial for campaigns to become more sustainable. This is a hypothetical question. There are many pros and cons to the plant-based diet. The benefits to society, the environment, and our health are well documented. However, it is not without its challenges. Marco Springman is a campaigner for sustainable food and led the Oxford Martin program on the future of food. According to Springman, if the world were to switch to a vegan diet today, greenhouse gas emissions would be reduced by 50%. The team of scientists calculated that if the world was to suddenly switch to a vegan diet in 2050, greenhouse gas emissions would be reduced by 50%. A new study published in Science has come up with a correction that defines the figure as being 11.5% rather than 28%, as initially reported. Joseph Poor and T. Temasek are 2 individuals who are seeking ways to reduce the number of animals used in animal agriculture. Their research put the number at 22.5% for a no animal products scenario, which is significant, but not nearly so dramatic as some might believe with such a small number. The plant-based diet is becoming more and more popular with people across the world due to the abundance of health benefits it offers. In addition to being a great way to incorporate a healthier lifestyle, it can also be a quick and easy way to lose weight. Lifestyles that rely on meat and animal products are becoming less and less popular as awareness of their negative health and environmental impacts grows. That said, the number of people who still consume these types of foods is still quite high. The plant-based alternatives to meat are becoming more common in the food industry. In fact, vegan meat products have been on the rise in recent years. This is leading to a rise in the demand for plant-based burgers, vegan chicken nuggets, vegan sausage, and vegan bacon. A plant-based diet is the best way to prevent chronic diseases. It has been proven to lower your risk of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and more. But not all diets are created equal. Vegetarianism has been found to not only lead to a longer life, but also to lower blood pressure and cholesterol, as well as a reduced risk for cancer and diabetes. However, these health benefits come at the price of less variety in the diet, leading many vegetarians to adopt a mixed diet approach, as well as other dietary practices such as juicing and fasting. One of the most important reasons why this is so is because vegetarians tend to consume more fruits and vegetables, which have higher bioavailability of nutrients, lower levels of saturated fats and cholesterol, and are usually more affordable than most meats. A vegan future would also free up space and resources for growing food. According to research published by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, meat eaters require 17 times more land, 14 times more water, and 10 times more energy than vegetarians. This mainly comes from the use of a large proportion of the world's agricultural land for crop cultivation to feed livestock. Professor of medicine at Harvard, Walt Willett, thinks that if we were able to eliminate most world hunger by just feeding about 40 million tons of food to humans instead of to farm animals every year, we could save 760 million tons in the process. As the world population continues to rise, the pressure on resources will also increase. This means that people will have to rely on each other more for resources. With the increased volume of content that companies are producing, there is a greater need for innovation in production techniques to keep up with the demand. This creates an opportunity for companies to become more efficient, while also increasing the need for innovation in production techniques. Right now, we produce more than 1.5 times the amount of food needed to feed everyone on the planet. However, it just doesn't get to everyone in need. In other words, having enough to eat is as much about distribution as it is production. The global meat and dairy industries provide work for millions of people, often in poor communities around the world. However, these industries have been criticized for not doing enough to help the workers in these industries and the people in general. They are responsible for providing harmful and toxic products that can lead to health problems, such as cancer, obesity, and more. The first question that comes to mind in regards to the question of what would happen to all the animals if we didn't consume them is, how do we know how many animals we're eating? But before we answer that, it's important to consider how much we eat. Americans eat about 70 billion chickens and turkeys every year. So, that's a lot. For some animals, like chickens, farms are their only homes. For other species, it's the wild for which they yearn. With increased human interaction and increased agricultural production at the cost of natural habitats, the question is becoming more and more pressing. How can we preserve species in a world that is increasingly unable to support them? There are many factors that make veganism difficult to scale. Veganism is a lifestyle based on the belief that animals have the right to be free from human consumption and harm. It's difficult for farmers to scale down breeding when they need to provide meat, milk, eggs, and leather for their customers. Given that it is predicted that populous Asian countries will have to tackle rising climate change, rising obesity, and diabetes, the Chinese government has released new guidelines to help reduce meat consumption by 50% by 2030. Asia is a growing powerhouse, and its countries are powerful contributors to global efforts to combat climate change. In 2016, the Chinese government released new guidelines aimed at getting people healthier and tackling climate change. The guidelines were developed by experts from the United Nations Development Program, World Health Organization, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the Asian Development Bank. As the world becomes more vegan-friendly, there are plenty of opportunities for people who are already vegan to spread the word. Some people have found success in selling plant milk in vegan communities, while others have started blogs or podcasts to share their experiences with other vegans. Social media has become an integral part of modern life, but it's not always easy to make your voice heard online. Without a large following or a significant social media presence, you might find yourself struggling to get noticed and get the word out about what you're passionate about. The internet is a powerful force for good. Advocates use this platform to spread awareness about the benefits of a plant-based diet and expose animal cruelty. Not only does it allow people to share their knowledge and experiences, but it also allows for people to make connections with others who have similar interests. For the first time in history, more people are choosing to avoid meat and animal products. The vegan movement has been gaining momentum in recent years, but the need for ethical treatment of animals is not reflected in our food industry. There are a variety of ways to support veganism by going plant-based, including a number of healthy lifestyle choices that you can make within just a few days.